And how about last night, the Alzheimer's thing?
Yeah.
I had a good type, had Sandy type in case I need that 2 years from now. That's going out as a mailer.
I had a quick dinner with my mom last night, and I'm just like, he's not resurrected.
No. How's your mom doing?
Good.
Good. What was her take on last night? That was a tough one, I thought.
I know. I mean, I wish we had the ability to say, I can give you 6.
I wish I could do that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and ease it off the property line a little, but,
Right.
you know, I hate to send something back to ground zero, and you gotta do everything again, and I'm like,
Well, when all the planning, you're right, and I don't disagree with you. I think when you have all these government agencies that are paid, and they say to do it, I mean, it's okay, it's like, well.
yes. And then I try to look at the home value, and that 170 grand, you're gonna be pretty equal to what those houses are in Monarch Meadows.
Right.
So,
How about those house sales? You see these people get all pissed off.
but what?
Do you see how pissed they got? Like, they're excited with those properties they're selling for better.
Yeah.
Well, those are foreclosure. Like, well, that's reality.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I was hoping that would go over well.
We'll wait here another minute or two. That's all right with everybody.
Okay, so we're good up to 2021 for the road.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go right to the fire. Yikes.
We'll give them another minute or so, and then, all right.
Yeah, I'll just start it and then.
That's what I thought, okay. Hey, Chief, nice work acknowledging your wife at those open houses.
You know.
It's a nice touch, it's a nice touch, yes. That's right.
She did.
Is he?
Help.
Yeah,
I
oh,
come home.
she hear you at night,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a long time, I understand.
That's right. 38 years.
Really?
Know what it is? Congrats.
Yeah.
25 for me.
Wow.
It's usual nowadays.
Really?
Really? Wow.
Now, is that split up amongst 3 or 4 women? It's kind of like a jail sentence. It might not be the same jail, it's just time served.
That sounds like a buddy in Vegas. He's been there 3 times. But the first one and the third one are the same person. There was one in the middle.
Wow. That's what Photoshop's for, you can go put her face.
Scratch off the edge of that.
My wife tells me that's okay because it takes too long to train somebody new.
Yeah, yeah.
Cheaper to keep. Cheaper to keep, yeah.
Sam, are you ready?
I'm
Go ahead,
ready.
I'm sorry.
No, that's
okay. Truck, sorry.
All right, well, I guess we will begin our special meeting to go over the road and fire department budgets. We will begin at 2:05.
Thank you. As you know, today is December 4th.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, Neil Mahoney's birthday today.
Get that on the record.
Call the roll.
Call the roll.
Call the roll, Mr. Genowine,
Here?
Mr. Haddad,
Here.
and Mr. Mahoney.
Here.
The first one we have on the agenda is the road and bridge. And Greg will be speaking on that. And there's a couple things that we'll point out is
Many people don't understand that, and Greg, please, if I say it wrong, that the Road and Bridge Fund cannot spend gas tax and those taxes for brush pickup and then on household pickup.
Right.
So the general fund transfers money to that fund to pay for those services. By shrinking some of those services over the last few years, we've been able to shrink the general fund transfer to the Road and Bridge Fund. Greg can address that later on. The second thing is, Greg's fund was actually in 2013 projected to be in the black. In 2014, there's only about a couple $1,000 difference between the expenses and the revenue, and we're kind of holding that line for the next few years. As you can see, it was projected out to at least 2021. Greg's fund has a substantial cash reserve. The reason that is because in the last 2 years, the trustees have made the decision to be more efficient, downsize that fund, but without cutting the services to the public, and I think we've done that. And as you know, there's fewer employees there, and we get by, I think, with the same service. There's employees that we have work hard, and I appreciate their services. And once again, as the trustee said yesterday, everybody from the bottom to the top understands the problem the township has as far as revenues and expenses. And I think we're all working together on that. So
I do have a question before you get started. Sorry, if you could answer the question. Yesterday, I forgot, I didn't bring my sheet. 350 is what we're giving that department from the general fund? Where's that on the, where's on the line item here, just so I can
It's on the
see that?
second page, towards the bottom,
on the big sheet,
the big sheet there.
Oh, got it, okay, thanks. I couldn't find, all right, great, thank you.
and with that, Jim or Greg, I'll start with Jim and Greg.
I just, a couple things. First of all, the same thing as yesterday. There is no wage increase built into this budget. So whenever that's decided, of course, that'll be a change. We followed the same basic formula as we did on the other two. As you can see, we split, we segregate anything related to wages in that one section, and then the operating expenses. Greg's, as you go on to the second page, we do split out some categories, different categories, and so we can spell it out a little better. So with that, I'll mention or let Greg take over. The third page, excuse me, Greg, the third page gives us a breakdown of the various items that we're planning for 2014. So you can take a look at that, and those are built into the budget. So they're great.
I guess I'd like to point out on the second page, halfway down the paragraph 204 through 32, those 4 line items, there's probably the most important to me, and then on the third page, color coded. Tapping the stormwater district for reimbursement of storm sewer projects. You can see those 5 projects that I listed. Accordingly, I've been in touch with Brian Miller at the County Engineers. It's important to maintain relationships with them. They're the ones with the money. But I'm receiving nothing but positive feedback from Keith Irving and staff over there. In fact, just had another request for log jam removal on 10 Mile Creek, north of Savannah Avenue. Sure enough, yesterday I went over there, it needs to be done. During the summer, winter months is ideal for us to do that work, as long as we have the right of entry forms. Any questions on the stormwater utility, on anything on those projects?
Those are the blue coats.
What about that big project they're supposed to be doing? Isn't that $600,000 project we're supposed to be getting done out here? And I haven't heard nothing about that. I talked to Brian about that too.
Don't know which one.
All right, well, they're doing today was the meeting for the DIC, but it wasn't their meeting, it was just a staff meeting. They're getting ready to put a meeting together for the DIC about giving us money for our road projects this year.
Okay, yes.
So I'll hear about that next week.
That would be under OPWC.
Right. Yeah.
That's a separate.
Yeah, I know.
It's not on page 3.
You're right.
I can check that.
Okay, sorry.
I just want to bring your attention to the Huntington Road Storm Sewer Project. What I've done there is I've requested a plan profile from the county engineer's office. That will give us the longitudinal drainage. I'm suspicious that over the decades, property owners took it upon themselves to fill in their ditches. So needless to say, we have storm tiles going like this. If the county engineers provide us with plan profile view, we can task our own in-house people and make this a project. And then again, claim reimbursement from the stormwater utility. This is what it represents, that format. Moving on in the rose-colored items there, with our mechanics force, I sincerely believe we have not only quality people in the road department, but in the service department too, with our equipment repairs, fleet maintenance. Having said that, we want to move forward with the diagnostic scanning machines. Instead of running the trucks or equipment over to the dealership so they can plug in their machine and tell us that it's fuse number 34, we can do that in-house. And I'd like to also say that between the service manager, the road foreman, and I, we want to enhance or expand any revenue-generating services that we could provide in fleet maintenance or road maintenance to other townships as well. So I think we need to encourage cooperation, or I'm all for encouraging cooperation in those avenues.
Sounds good.
The item in yellow, the Corey Road Guardrail Project, we are not working with the county engineers. There will be a multi-township / county guardrail project in 2014, so we will piggyback on that project. Hopefully the scales of economy will go in our favor. And the other item there, miscellaneous road repairs. Over the winter months with the frost and thaw cycle, water main breaks, what have you, we need to deal with those items. The last item I'd like to talk about is the hydraulic power unit. As you see there, I have budgeted $5,000. That's for accessories. Now, the Bureau of Workers' Comp practically paid for the machine itself, so we'd like to expand what we can get out of that machine within our workforce. If there's any other line items that are of concern, I'm open for questions.
I see we've got a purchase of a tandem dump truck scheduled.
Yes, 2 pieces of equipment, a 2000, so it's 14 years old, tandem dump truck. And what I'm recommending is that we trade in 2 of our oldest tandem dump trucks and purchase 1 new one. And let's see where that gets us as far as fitting with the downsizing of personnel. And then the other dump truck is a small size. It has a pickup truck cab. It's a small 1-ton size dump truck. Now, both of these dump trucks, we will transfer the dump box over to the chassis. So we're saving several thousands of dollars there. And this is a dump box solution.
Didn't we approve one back in September? A truck?
That was a pickup.
That was a pickup truck for the floor.
We dinged them on the tandem last year, was it?
That is correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coming back for it again.
Well, one of the things that I hope you picked up is, and we've done this a couple times, is we're getting rid of 2 trucks.
Yeah.
Okay, once we're downsizing the fleet, as you said, to match the staffing, which is another efficiency and cost saving moves. You have to remember, our maintenance guys do a tremendous job keeping those trucks running. These trucks are out there plowing snow, and they're picking up leaves, and they're out there in the summer putting asphalt on, so they're running all the time. These trucks get used.
What's the value of the trucks, and then you credit that onto onto here as far as a credit?
I assumed
Where would that go under?
estimated a trade-in value as well.
They just take the price off the new one.
Or you can sell mine gov.com too and get money for them.
Yes, we We have a couple of.
Yeah, I understand that, but do you have it in your budget here as to where you're putting that in as a credit as part of
The
your?
price is lower, he's already factored in.
Package the training down.
Got it, okay, very good. Okay, great, thanks.
I mean, when you see those guys hauling or moving those leaves, I think a tandem would work really well. You know, obviously, they're moving a lot of material.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions or?
Thanks, Greg.
Appreciate your thought on this.
Yep.
Well, that was the easy one.
Make me feel wanted.
Before I have them get started, and there's a couple things I want to say about the fire department, and they might highlight too, is, in my, it's no secret that the fire department is running out of money. What I want to stress is, it's not because of the expenses. We've controlled the expenses as best we can. If you look on the recap sheet, the first sheet, you'll see in 2012, in taxes, we received about $5,900,000. After the revaluation, you can see it dropped down to about 5.5, and we're going on at 5.5 for the next 6 years. That $400,000 was the drop in real estate values and losing taxes. Nothing we could do about that. But that's $400,000 every year, not just a one-time $400,000. It's $400,000, $400,000. Even with that drop, the chief and his staff have done a wonderful job in controlling expenses, overtime, equipment, training. He's done all he can on that. So I just want to stress that even though the fire fund, we know it's going to be running out of money, it's not because of the expense side. Well, it's the revenue side that is dropped, the $400,000 to $500,000 a year. And we knew it was coming, and we've done what we could to control our expenses, but at some point, we just have to say, we cut to the bone, and we need new revenue. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jim, the chief.
I don't have a whole lot to say, other than, what I said before, there's no wage increase in here, as far as payroll is concerned, but the chief can address. We did sit down and go through this budget together, and I know he and his staff have done a tremendous amount of work, and we talked about a lot of things on this budget. Trying to get it down, but we are below what last year's budget is, or this current year's budget, by a little bit, but, it's just one of those things. You still need to buy, and they still need supplies, they still need, all the items that are in here, so. For that, I'll turn it over to Chief.
Really, there's not much I can say about the budget other than what everybody else has said, that we're trying to control our costs. We're trying to maintain what we have. Our challenges this year and will continue into next year is our KME issue. I just got word from KME actually today that we're going to be sending down, I got a verification that we can send them. We're going to be sending down 2 individuals on the 9th to inspect the first engine that they've had since May?
Yes.
Since May. So it took them 7, almost 8 months to repair that engine. We have 2 more to send down yet with the court order. So our challenges are still continuing with the repairs, continuous repairs that we have going on with those engines. And we have 2 other engines that are very, very tired. One's over 25 years old. The other one is approaching its life expectancy, as Al told me, because the frame rails are starting to rust due to the, well, he's not here, he left, brine that's putting on the highways. I know it's not Greg's fault, but that's what really goes ahead and attacks the metal on our engines. I will say this, I do appreciate the shop, and in particular Al, for all the hard work he's done on the things. We have made that investment in the computer programs already on our side, so Al can have the up-to-date diagnostic materials that he needs to go ahead and take care of those issues. There are 2 EVT mechanics in the United States, only 2, that sit on the NFPA Rules Committee. You have one of them in Al. That's a tremendous thing. 1 in Al. There's only 2 in the United States that sit on that. That's a huge feather in Al's cap, and a huge feather in the township's cap to have somebody, a representative such as that, on the committee to write those rules. As you can see, as you go down through the list, on page 2, we have, in some of our areas, we've had to increase just a little bit. The hiring costs, we increased just a tad because we have those part-time individuals we just interviewed that we want to put online in January. The cost, we'll have costs on physicals and equipment and whatnot for them. Also the training, because we'll have to conduct a training class for those individuals. Equipment repairs and maintenance agreements, we have, as we buy some of this new equipment, we maintain that equipment through regular PM maintenance, and we buy those contracts so they can go ahead and those vendors can come in and take care of our equipment. We have Life Pack 15s that we just purchased for $28,000, and unfortunately, the hard part about that, we spend about $3,000 in maintenance agreement to make sure that those are calibrated and kept up to date. So as you go down that list, you'll see that we've had, in some cases, just a little bit of an increase in some of the categories and a decrease in others to try to maintain that budget and come in below what we were last year. Do you have any questions about anything on page 2?
When you were mentioning part-time
Yes, sir.
salaries and bringing them up to full-time, how many part-timers do we currently have on?
We have 3 part-timers on staff right now. We interviewed 8 people. Out of those 8, 6 said they would take part-time. The other 2 wanted nothing but full-time. So I anticipate putting, if it all goes back to their physicals, they have to pass their physicals and their psychological test. I'm anticipating sometime in January putting those people on.
Which would give us a total of 9.
We'll give us close to 9. We had, of the previous part-timers, we had 2 that went to Toledo Fire Division, they had that big hire, and we had 1 that went to Springfield.
Didn't one leave recently?
He was let go because of his participation. He didn't meet the,
Okay,
we
yep,
had set aside for working, so we asked him to.
okay.
I made it.
Hey, Dave.
You start without me?
Yeah, we're almost done.
So if you have any questions on page 2 that I can answer, I'd be more than happy to. Or any questions about the budget?
Nope.
And we don't now type in about the balances. As you can see on the recap sheet, sometime, what's this projection, 1 to 14, but sometime during 2015, we're going to run out of cash in the fire fund. The fire fund is supported by levies. When you vote on a levy, it does not kick in until a year after, so if you voted 2014, you do not start collecting the money until 15, if you voted 15, it doesn't start collecting the money until 16. The last levy the fire had to build the stations in for operations, I think it was voted on, correct me if I'm wrong, it was voted on in 2008.
8.
With collection starting in 2009. So that levy, you can say, basically took us for 6 years with, remember I said the $500,000 drop in revenue from that levy. So I think we've done an excellent job getting back to controlling expenses for the fire department. But at some point, we can only control expenses so far, we will need additional revenue. And when I say additional revenue, my first $500,000 is just bringing us back to what we were in 2009. And then we need operating revenue to hopefully take off in this 5-6 years. Usually when you put a levy on, you do projections for 5-6 years that levy will support. So you don't put too large of a levy on that takes you so far out that people are being overtaxed. You don't want to put too small of a levy on that will only go for 2 or 3 years and then you're back on the ballot again. So generally, if you look at the way school levies are, and fire and police, you want a levy to last you 5 or 6 years. And you size it to that size that you need for that projection to take that 6 years. So, just in transparency, I don't want anybody to say they were blindsided, but the fire fund, as it is now with the projections, will run out of money in 2015. Sometime in 2015.
One other comment, in 2008, when we ran the levy campaign, we promised the voters we would not come back to them for at least 5 years. This will be 6 years. We'll be through our 6 years.
So, Chief, what's the plan? Or how do we, I know that you were in 2008, when do we start ramping up for a levy? When are the meetings, the committees, when does everything start rolling here? So we don't, I don't want to not show this up at the last minute and then we're all pickled, So how do we plan that out?
My goal is, I'll give us a break till January 1.
Okay.
January 2, at the holidays, we start at that point.
Okay.
We have to, as John mentioned earlier, maybe look at forming a committee, find out the size of the levy, and look at his numbers for the next few years, how big the levy will have to be, when it will be on the ballot, who's going to be out there
Great.
campaigning for it, how we're going to raise funds to do the campaign, because we like to have brochures and information out there to people
Great.
so they can make the decision. But I would say on January 2nd, we should start the ball rolling on what we're going to do.
I appreciate you giving it some thought.
Chief, you want to add to that?
No, that's what we did the last time we had levy committee. I've been on the last 2 levy committees, and we ramped up, and just exactly as Mr. Zeidler, I know Mr. Zeidler knows a lot more about levies than I will ever know, so we're going to lean on him for some guidance as far as the amount that we're going to have to go for and everything, and how we present it to the public. We want to present it in a positive way that they understand that we're just not there to buy frivolous things. We're there to try to maintain services.
Any other questions? Mr. Simpson?
No, but I did know what the chief had said, that when the levy was passed the last time, and it was a little bit of a difficult thing, one failure, and but there was a commitment that it would last for 5 years, and the township, I think, has done a good job, the fire department, of shepherding that money to get an extra year out of it, and so I think we, as you were pointing out, letting the voters know as we go into this campaign that I think we are pretty frugal with monies, and it's their money, but we do need some additional funds to keep the fire department going in its current level, and so. But yeah, no, other than that, no questions.
I do think communication is going to be a big factor here. I know Mr. Freilich has really stepped up and has been very involved in writing newspaper articles, getting our website up to date. But a lot of this stuff needs to be, pushed out into the community, because my fear is that the residents are going to look at this similar to the school's difficulty at their 2 levies ago, when they said, you guys just, you did this, now you can't afford, you built 3 brand new stations, now you can't afford to run them. And so we need to get out ahead of that, explain it very well and thoroughly, and the dip in the revenue, and, where our expenses have climbed, whether it be 1-2% a year. Start to really put those numbers together and get them out there and communicate to the residents that we're doing the best job we can. And, again, it's not just that we're out spending money because we're a public entity.
I understand there's a school levy 2 next year coming up.
We learned this morning they'll be coming in the spring.
Yep.
Well, that's, I think, their plan.
Well, they were planning to do opposite of the township, because they want to make sure they get theirs passed, and then ours would be on the same time, which would affect both of them. So they said they were going to do theirs opposite of when you were going to do yours.
I don't think we've had any communication with them, and we're still, like John said, I think we're in the infancy. I don't know if we'd be ready by spring.
That's part of what we'll look at.
Yeah.
That's why on January 1, I want to get going, because
Yeah.
we have...
Well, that would be a May primary anyways this year, unless they
Right.
change it statewide, but I don't see them changing it to March.
No, it'd be...
May.
May.
Yeah. And like I said, the state, yesterday I spoke at the meeting, they're going to get rid of the March ones and the August primaries. Statewide and stuff like that, they're only going to, no specials anymore. Okay, thank you, Chief.
I know you guys are, doing the best we have with what we got, and it's, unfortunately, so much of it is based on the revenue we're bringing in and the expenses that are going out, but keep up the good work.
Yeah, thanks, Chief, appreciate you, and everybody else.
Mike
and
staff and the guys. The guys have done a real good job trying to cut some energy costs, cut fuel costs. I mean, that's our big thing. Fuel costs, you might have to take a dart, throw it at a dartboard, you don't know what fuel's going to be next year. So
Nope.
it's a tough thing.
$294 I filled up for today.
I heard it now.
I paid $286 for Kathy's car yesterday, over at Costco.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Close at 2:30?
And with that, I'd offer a motion to adjourn at 2:31.
Second?
I'll call the roll, Mr. Haddad?
Yep.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genoway?
Yes.
Cody,
got here for 6
minutes, I don't know if it's worth the gas. I wasn't sure, I thought it might be, I didn't realize how late it was. Actually, this was if I had paid more attention, scrambled. I would have said, oh, the hell, I'll right back, you know, and then.
You're slow talking to your clients so you can bill them by the minute. If I can round this one up another 30 seconds, I can get a few.
Older and wiser, he's so smart.
Dave's got that thing going all the time. 3 different conversations.